he was making her, the predator was making her feel very uncomfortable.
Steve Clausen, California News.
The best time of the sports year is about to get better, especially for fans of the hardcourt. It's this week's Geico Sports Now. Baseball is rocketing towards the World Series. The hard hits of pro football are into the midseason, and the grace and power of hockey is delighting its loyal fans. Adding to all that, the last of the Big Four pro basketball has just begun its 82-game schedule. Truly something for just about everyone who calls themselves a fan.
Geico could assist you in saving lots of money on your car insurance. Simply go to geico.com for more information.
Till the tears run down from my eyes, Lord, somebody, ooh, somebody, can anybody find me somebody to love?
Alexa, play hits from Queen.
Okay.
Somebody to love.
With Amazon Music, a voice is all you need. Get tens of millions of songs. Download the Amazon Music app today.
NBC News Radio, I'm Brian Shook. President Trump is vowing to change the asylum system for illegal immigrants. He declared today no longer will a meritless appeal for asylum be a free pass for entry to the U.S. Trump said illegal immigration is placing an enormous strain on the U.S.
Illegal immigration hurts American workers, burdens American taxpayers, and undermines public safety.
Trump has deployed several thousand U.S. troops along the U.S. southern border. The man accused of killing 11 people at a Pittsburgh synagogue is pleading not guilty. He was arraigned today on 44 counts. Reporters say Robert Bowers was led into the courtroom and appeared to be unrepentant and defiant. A Texas police officer is lucky to be alive tonight after being shot in the head in LaGrange. According to a county judge, 2 officers were serving a warrant at a Dollar General store in this town about 70 miles from Austin. The suspect allegedly cut one deputy and then ran to a motel and barricaded himself inside. When officers approached, he shot at one deputy and the bullet grazed his head. State Department spokeswoman Heather Nauert is reportedly being offered the job of U.S. ambassador to the UN.
ABC News says it is unclear whether Nauert has accepted the offer from President Trump. The post is subject to Senate confirmation. Ambassador Nikki Haley plans to leave the UN job at year's end. Nauert is a TV news veteran who worked at Fox News before joining the State Department. Tom Roberts, NBC News Radio.
A convicted murderer in Tennessee is dead after being executed by the electric chair. Edmund Zagorski was the first prisoner to be electrocuted to death in the state since 2007. The 63-year-old was convicted of murdering 2 men back in 1983. His last words before being put to death were, "Let's rock." Netflix is aiming to win an Oscar. The streaming giant will soon be releasing 3 movies in theaters before making them available online. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
Re-elect Riverside County Sheriff Stan Sniff on November 6th. Because Sheriff Sniff will keep our families safe. Let's keep a proven and experienced leader in this critical office as he continues to modernize our Sheriff's Department by integrating technology tools for his deputies and dramatically improving their training and equipment. Vote for experience, proven leadership, and integrity. Vote to re-elect Riverside County Sheriff Stan Sniff on November 6th. Paid for by Friends of Stan Sniff 2018.
Weaver Hughes Mortuary will be showing the movie Coco in honor and celebration of Dia de los Muertos, Friday, November 2nd, 4:30 p.m., 33629 Yucaipa Boulevard. Please bring a photo of those you will be honoring to add to our altar. Refreshments will be served. For more info, 909-790-3742, 909-790-3742 at the Weaver Hughes Mortuary in Yucaipa.
KCAA.
Are you ready for a new experience? To see life from another point of view? New hope, new expression, new joy. This is your radio hour. Welcome to Viewpoint with Father John.
And welcome, friends. You are tuned to KCAA Radio, 1050 AM, 102.3 FM, 106.5 FM. We're on the World Wide Web at KCAAradio.com. This is Viewpoint with Father John, and I am your host, Father John Reed. By the way, you can follow this show on Facebook at Viewpoint with Father John, and this is a listener-supported program. So if you go to www.viewpointwithfatherjohn.com, click on the support button, you can help keep us on the air. All of God's children are endowed with extraordinary purpose and ability. I'm on a quest to help as many as possible in fully realizing their divinely inspired potential. Disposing of false narrative and embracing genuineness inspires clarity of purpose. My role is to help overcome self-imposed limitations in realizing one's spiritual potential. And this part of the show has been brought to you tonight by Draper and Kramer Mortgage Corporation, the name you trust for over 100 years. If you're looking to refinance or purchase a home, contact my friend Ernie Gonzalez at 888-284-8332. Again, that's 888-284-8332 or online at mortgagesbyernie.com. Tell them Father John sent you. Draper and Kramer Mortgage Corporation, NMLS 2551, is licensed by the Department of Business Oversight under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. Ernie Gonzalez, NMLS 1086147, an equal housing lender. And do tell Ernie that I told you to call. He's a good guy. I've known him for a number of years. He will treat you right. As you know, I don't let anyone advertise on this show that I don't stand behind. And so I know him personally, and I vouch for his integrity. Also, if you missed the phone number, you can also get that at www.viewpointwithfatherjohn.com. A couple things going on with the news. We are coming up to vote day. If you don't vote, don't gripe. I don't want to hear it. There's no excuse for not voting, and don't buy that line that your vote doesn't count. Every vote counts. So I don't care who you vote for. Get out there and vote. Do your civic duty. No, that's not a request. That is a demand. And so, just in case you wondered what that was about. I'm feeling a little spicy tonight because Gabby and I ate at El Tepeyac, and the salsa was very hot. I should have had some ice cream afterwards. Those of you who understand that, you know what I'm talking about. So it's going to be a little tough. I do have an announcement coming up on December 6th, 2018, which just happens to be this year. Isn't that fortunate? Yes. At 6 p.m., I will be at Mountain View Mortuary and Cemetery celebrating their candlelight service. If you've had a loved one that's died within this year or last year, bring some photos over there over the next couple of weeks. They'll include the photos during the slideshow. What we do is we have some beautiful Christmas music. We light candles for our loved ones. We honor them, and we have some prayerful time together because the holidays are tough to get through. Don't get through them alone. Know that there's some people here who really care, and I'm one of them. So come join us there. There'll be some refreshments. There'll be some hot cocoa and some, which I'll have to sneak because Gabby tries to keep me away from the sugar. And so, which is tough because I married such a sweet woman. You'd think my sugar would be through the roof all the time. And yes, I don't want to sleep on the couch tonight. So, and for any of you thinking about getting married, just a little advice, buy the 7-foot couch. Guys, you'll thank me. So, on a very serious note, I'm very thrilled tonight to have a guest tonight, Cynthia McWiggin.
Yes.
Yeah, see, I got it good.
Yes, you did.
And she's with Steps for Life Community Services, a rather impressive program with a really impressive story. I was actually referred to her from a guest from a few weeks ago, Father Pete Wright, who said, you really got to talk to this lady. And I did a little bit of search. And Cynthia, welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you. I'm honored that you asked me to come on the show. Well, again, my name is Cynthia McWiggin. I am the founder of Steps for Life Community Services. We opened our program in 2001. My personal journey that led me to, I guess, say, want to do something to help others was my own struggles in life. I started very young. At 13, I left home. I had my own addiction and alcoholism problems for many, many years. I was involved in domestic violent relationships.
Yes.
I was on the streets for many years, and I always kind of knew there was another way, but I was just so lost that I couldn't find a way to begin to try to change.
Sure.
I don't have a big family as far as the brothers and sisters and, this huge family to reach out to. So I felt lost. I didn't know where I belonged. And so I had a lot of struggles in that area for many, many, many years. And it was...
Well, may I ask, what led you to leave at age 13? Was it... I'm sure it wasn't because you didn't get the right Christmas gift.
Absolutely not. I do come from a broken home. My father was an alcoholic. My mom did the best job that she could do, raising me with the ability of, back in those days, raising an only child.
Sure.
And I kind of always had struggles. I didn't fit in. I didn't know where I belonged. I had trouble in school. It felt safer to leave.
Sure.
And I pretty much did that. I kept getting in trouble. I seemed to get more attention. I felt like if I acted out and did things, then I got attention. And so that kind of, I found that, if I acted out, I got attention from this. So I kind of did it to try to get attention from my dad, who didn't want me. And I didn't really have a whole lot of friends. I was raised in Los Angeles, and it was not the best area. And
is there a good area of Los Angeles?
Maybe the beach. Maybe the beach.
I've been an IE kid my whole life, so.
Yeah, so I got married pretty young. As soon as I turned 18, I had met him.
Sure.
And he was 39, which is more of a father figure, I think. I thought it would be a really good idea to run away with somebody that was that old.
Yeah.
And obviously that didn't work. So even as my teen years, I was going in and out of the system and kind of was raised in the systems. Went to juvenile hall a lot, went to group homes. And that pattern just continued through my whole adult life.
Sure. I imagine the juvenile hall must have been pretty traumatic at the time.
A lot of people have asked me that, and it wasn't.
Okay.
It really wasn't. Actually, it was kind of safe.
Now, was that McLaren Hall? Or?
Absolutely. I went to LP Juvenile Hall, and McLaren, and then as, it went on, it went to Sybil Brand, and then it just continued to go,
Sure.
So.
Now, did you ever go to California Conservation Corps?
No.
Okay. Because that's also another place, and they had a place we used to call Camp Snoopy that a lot of kids would go to. And we call it affectionately Camp Snoopy, but a lot of stuff happened there that was pretty serious stuff. So that's why I asked the question, is not to get too personal, but I know a lot of people that have had some really hellacious experience going through that part of the system from not just other kids, but from staff members. And so I know you never know what you're going to get when you go in there. So
I didn't really have those kind of problems when I was there. I think for me, I used a defense mechanism with a lot of anger because I was a very, very angry young kid. So for me, I think I utilized that to keep people away. I didn't trust adults because I had been hurt a lot by adults. I got in a very early age into a lifestyle that I wouldn't hope anybody would get into. And that became a part of my life for a lot of years. And getting into that lifestyle was really hard to get out of. And I found it as a way of manipulation, and it enabled me to be able to shut down from feelings. And so I didn't have to deal with anything, and I didn't have to feel. So I got to become different people and act different roles. And so I just kind of did the escape thing from life, and that's where the drugs and alcohol also came in, and I escaped everything. So to numb the pain of everything that was happening in my lifestyle, it worked. It worked for a lot of years, I thought.
Sure. You talked a little bit about being trafficked, if I heard you correctly.
I got involved in, there's a lot of dance clubs out in the Los Angeles areas. I didn't look at it as that's what it was back in those days until just, I don't know, a few years back. And didn't have any inkling to this is what was kind of happening. But when you're 14 and 15 years old and you're working in clubs, you are. And that became my life for a while until you got older, and then a lot of the clubs found out if you were using drugs, you couldn't work there. And so little by little, it brought me out into...
Wow, that's something else. If you're using drugs, they won't use you, but you'd be under 18. And they'll use you.
And they knew I was a minor.
Oh, my goodness. I can't tell you how that breaks my heart. That's I didn't know that. You just educated me about that. And I consider myself quasi-street smart, but I didn't know about that with the clubs. And, boy, that just does something inside me just hearing that. So how were you able to get the drugs and alcohol at that age?
Oh, they were everywhere. Okay. You know, I mean, it was in the clubs. I mean, that was never a problem. You know, it really wasn't. I know early in, when I did make it to high school, I really didn't go to class, but I mean, weed and pills and all of that was the big thing back then. But I graduated to the harder drugs immediately. I know I used to steal a lot of alcohol out of my mom's cupboards, and I did all those little tricks that we do as kids when we're trying to hide it or fill it with water. You know, I did all that. But drugs were so plentiful, you know, in the later 70s, it was just everywhere. So
I can remember I was 12 years old, and I'm past the statutes of limitations on this. And my mom had in the refrigerator this craft of apricot wine. And so what I was doing at 12 years old was pouring that out and putting water with yellow food coloring in it. And I got it, so it looked pretty much like that. And then one day she had that, it was pure water, and she couldn't figure out what happened to it. I said, it must have been one of Jesus's miracles, only dyslexic. It went from wine to water.
Yep. You know, and I think a lot of that happened with me too. In school, I had such a struggle. You know, I was labeled really young as being ADHD, a problem child. And I just wasn't. I was just looking for somebody to notice me, love me, not label me. And so that was a big thing for me, the struggles in school. It was just not good. And I've heard so much as I was growing up, you chose this life, you chose to do this, you chose to do drugs. Part of it was a choice, but at 13, I don't believe that I had choices, or at 14 and 15 and 16, you know, and as I got an adult, I was just so caught up. By that time, it was just a lifestyle. And it was hard to just get away from this, a lifestyle.
Absolutely.
Of any of it.
And again, I think a lot of people don't understand the disease concept of alcoholism and drug addiction, that it's recognized by the American Medical Association as a disease. It has symptoms. It can be treated. It certainly is fatal. If not given proper treatment. So, you know, it's not just a matter of willpower saying, you know, I'm just not going to do that anymore. I've heard people say that in the drinking end of it, they take the drink takes the drink, then the drink takes them, and the same with the drug addiction. And so there's a lot more to it than what a cursory view would look at. Speaking of breaks, we're coming up to our first break right now, and so my guest tonight is Cynthia McWiggin. I'm sorry, I did it. And so we'll be back in 2 and 2.
The loss of a loved one is one of the most challenging experiences in a person's life. It's hard to know where to turn to make your loved one's final arrangements. Jesse Ruiz at Personal Funeral Planning in Ontario will treat you and your loved one with the respect you deserve. Jesse served in the Marine Corps in Desert Storm and understands what it takes to provide loyal, personalized, and empathetic service to those who need it most. The families of Michael Jackson, Brittany Murphy, Ed McMahon, and many others have trusted Jesse to provide them with the highest level of service and support. To work with Jesse, call 909-762-4027, 909-762-4027, or visit their website, www.4pfp.org. www.4pfp as in personalfuneralplanning.org. Jesse Ruiz and Personal Funeral Planning, veteran-owned and operated, helping you plan a personal, lasting tribute for your loved one. www.4pfp.org.
Toy Story 4, too emotional for Tom Hanks. This is the entertainment wrap-up for the Inland Empire. I'm Andrew Caravella. Tom Hanks revealed that he got very emotional while recording the ending of Toy Story 4. Pixar's flagship property will be returning to theaters next summer, 9 years after Toy Story 3 seemingly capped off the series, according to ScreenRant.com. Given how the third film concluded, fans were surprised when the studio announced they were working on a fourth installment, which has gone through several ups and downs in development. You see, Pixar apparently tossed out most of the original script, and that delayed the project as the team looked to get it right. Pixar is renowned for their ability to pack poignant punches with their films. You know, those first 5 minutes of Up? Yeah. Or, you know, the part where Andy is saying goodbye to the toys in the trilogy? Now, while on the Chris Evans Breakfast Show, Tom Hanks discussed that his last day recording Woody's vocal parts and his reaction when the meaning of the story finally sunk in. Tom Hanks said that when he realized what they were going for, he realized, oh, this is a moment in history. Now, in other news. Now, I know a lot of people that listen to the Entertainment Wrap-Up are huge NCIS fans. How do I know that? Well, I just do. Okay, so NCIS this season, according to Cinema Blend, might be losing another character. It doesn't seem as though the latest clues point to any characters leaving in a body bag, but rather due to an angry boss looking to possibly clean house. You see, the Secretary of Defense's investigation, according to the storyline, will apparently be similar to things that have happened on NCIS LA and NCIS New Orleans. One would imagine, though, that if anyone is leaving NCIS temporarily or permanently, it's probably going to be the character most responsible for breaking the law during the operation. NCIS airs on CBS on Tuesdays. I'm Andrew Caravella, and that's the Entertainment Wrap-Up 909 and 951. If you have an entertainment report, send it to me on social media, handle On Air Andrew, and I'll see you next time.
And welcome back. You are tuned to KCAA Radio, 1050 AM, 102.3 FM, 106.5 FM, or on the World Wide Web at KCAAradio.com. This is Viewpoint with Father John, and I am your host, Father John Reed. This portion of the show is brought to you by Draper & Kramer Mortgage Corporation, the name you've trusted for over 100 years. If you are looking to refinance or purchase a home, contact my friend Ernie Gonzalez at 888-284-8332. Again, that's 888-284-8332, or online at mortgagesbyernie.com. Tell him Father John sent you. Draper & Kramer Mortgage Corporation, NMLS 2551, licensed by the Department of Business Oversight under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. Ernie Gonzalez, NMLS 1086147, an equal housing lender. And so welcome back to the show. I'm with my friend Cynthia McQuiggan. Yes. She's laughing because I'm Irish. I should be able to say this name.
Me too.
And, but, you know, I am dyslexic. She's lucky I didn't call her Smith. So, and we're talking a little bit about her life story and how she came about putting together Steps for Life Community Services, which is a big deal here in Redlands. I did a little research on it, and they're doing what needed to be done for a long, long time. And so I personally thank you for that.
Thank you.
And we're talking during the break a little bit about, alcoholism and drug addiction is hereditary. Mm-hmm. And it is, my friend Father Joseph Martin used to say, it's the greatest spot remover in the world. It removes the spot on the table. It removes the table. It removes the family that sat around the table. It removes the house where the family used to meet. And let's talk a little bit about your experience with that. Your dad died of the disease, is that correct?
Yes, my dad was an alcoholic. I wasn't raised with my father. He left when I was about 3. He would come in and out of my life. Most of the time that I did see him was not on good terms. And he was a very bad alcoholic. One thing I know the memories of my dad, I wanted, and I think a lot of the pain came from wanting him to acknowledge me, and he just did not. And sure. I remember I would sit at the bar where he would drink and wait for him to come out, just a glimpse, and I can remember that as being a little kid. I just want to see my dad, and it'd be like, here's $5, go away kind of thing. And he died a very, very horrific death from cirrhosis. And I remember when he was in the hospital, And I literally had walked right by him. And he was a big guy. He was broad shoulders, very tall, good-looking man. And I walked right by him, had no idea it was him, and I'd asked the nurse, I'm looking for my dad. She goes, that is your father. And it was this pathetically frail man. It was a skeleton with just skin on. And he looked like he was about 9 months pregnant. His legs were completely black.
Right.
And he died of a very slow, painful death. And, I was about 22 when he died. And you would have thought that I would have been, maybe I should stop drinking now. I think I just drank more because it was like, that's him. That's not going to happen to me.
Sure.
And it was really bad. It was really ugly. And it was really sad because he was not old. He was like 52 years old, which is quite young. So the disease has been in my family. I also have 3 children. 2 of them I did not raise due to my disease. I have one son who is in recovery now. He has about 18 months.
Oh, wonderful.
But the disease took me to places with my children that I didn't care. I didn't care about them because the disease is all I cared about, because that's all I knew.
Sure.
And for a long time, that was very hard for me to deal with, to talk about. But that's my truth. And, I've worked on a lot of issues and done a lot of work on myself. But, I never thought I would be that person that my dad was. So, I really prided myself that, one day I'm going to break the cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And by the grace of God, I have done that. And I think that's what led me so much into this program.
Well, what was your bottom? They say everyone has to hit a bottom, if I may ask that.
Oh my goodness, I think my bottom had hit many years prior, but I didn't have a clue on what to do. I tried everything, the clinics, the methadone clinics, the don't switch from this vodka to beer to I did all those things. Nothing ever worked, but honestly, the bottom was I was in a hotel room. I was on 5th Street, and basically the police came to my door, not nicely, and told me that they wanted me out of San Bernardino, and they wanted me out by 6 p.m.
Wow.
And I thought it was a joke. I was, totally intoxicated. And I said, what am I supposed to do, get on my horse and just ride out of town? Because I took it the way he said it, like, I must leave by sunset, okay. And they left. But before he left, he said something to me. And, people had talked to me through the years, and it would go in this ear and right out the other. But it was the way he said it. He actually, took the time to sit down. He goes, I don't want to find you a statistic. He goes, there's something about you, he says, that I can see that I know you can't see. He says, go get some help. He says, because if you don't, he goes, I'm going to make sure you go away, and you're not going to be coming back anytime soon. He says, I don't want to find your body in a hotel room or behind a dumpster because somebody had killed you or because you killed yourself. He says, and you have a child. And at that time, my youngest, he was like 4. He says, have that child end up in the system.
Right.
And do you want him to go through the same things that you did?
Wow. Powerful.
And I don't know what it was or how he said it, and I just kind of looked at him and rolled my eyes like, yeah, okay. And, and he left. And I remember sitting in there alone, empty. It was right before Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I've got to do something. I have to do something. And I don't know, divine intervention that came over me.
Sure.
And I just literally broke down that night and cried. And I said, please, God, help me. Just please help me. And that next day I went and I got some help. And I've been on a totally different mission. And I believe doing God's work.
Sure.
And that's what led me into, it was funny because I was telling you earlier, that I had this big plan, and I only maybe had been off drugs 8 or 9 days, I think, and I had this whole plan of what I was going to do with my life, and somebody had told me, you really should just stay with what's happening today, and I had my whole goal set out.
Imagine that.
That's what led me. I put myself through school because I had no education.
Right.
I had absolutely no education. And I put myself through school and I had some phenomenal mentors when this place that I was at getting some help. And I watched what they did, and I wanted everything that they had. And this one person that was in my life had told me, why don't you go to school? And I was like, oh, my God, I'm 38. Like, those people are young. And so I took the advice, and I went to school, and I think I was the oldest one in the class at that time. And I struggled, and I just was determined to finish, and I did.
Now, was that at San Bernardino Valley College?
No, actually, I went to California Paramedical, and I went further counseling. I was going to become a counselor, and that's what I did. And then I went and I started working in some treatment. Well, I did an internship. I got hired, and then this same person had told me, you know what, why don't you go apply to work at the prison?
Wow.
I don't know about that. You know? I'm not sure. So I did, and I worked there for about 8 years. It was the most wonderful experience I've ever had.
Wow.
I learned a lot. I grew a lot. And then in 2001 is when I got my first house, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to, if I only touch one person's life, that they don't have to suffer and go through all the horrific things that I have gone through. Because I hear people say, well, that hasn't happened to me yet. I don't have any yet.
Yeah,
I don't have any.
Yet as you're eligible too.
Yeah,
so, yeah,
you know, I mean, everything that could possibly happen to a human being, except for being killed, has happened to me.
Wow.
So it was nothing left. And that's what basically got me to start this organization. And I wanted to do it differently than anybody else. And so I kind of just was doing it as a passion, and I was still working. And then my son, he was going to graduate Citrus Valley in 2012. So in 2008, I said, I'm going to go back to school. So I went back to school at the University of Phoenix, only because I wanted to walk stage with cap and gown at the same year he graduated. So that was my goal, to go back to a university. And
I have some units there, so I understand.
Yeah. Didn't think about the $30,000 loan after the fact, you know, but
Lord, hear our prayer.
Yeah, you know, so I did that, and I got some more education, and I met a phenomenal man that seen the vision that I had, and he was willing to help me. So I have 5 houses. We just embarked on another one. So I kind of was like Redland's best kept secret.
Sure.
And that was the joke around town. Like, nobody knew what I was doing.
Speaking of that, let's talk a little bit about your program. What do you have going?
Well, everything. My needs for them is whatever a person needs. We work with the homeless, domestic violence, substance abuse, I don't turn away nobody. If they have a problem and they want to do something different, you know what, my door is open. And that's kind of what I've been doing, and it works. I haven't changed it. I've kept it the same way. The minute they come in, we get their IDs, we get their social security cards, we have an office built so they can get their clothes, do their resumes. We collaborate with other organizations to get whatever need that I may not be able to give them that we can get them. They volunteer in our office so they can get some job skills. I've collaborated with quite a few people in Redlands that have hired a lot of our clients. Right now we're serving 42 clients.
Wow.
And 8 children. So that I'm really proud of that. A lot of people told me you can't mix populations. For instance, you can't have domestic violence, homeless, substance abuse in one house. Why not?
Yeah, good question.
Why not? Yes, you can, and I'm going to do it. And you know what? It's working. What we're doing is working. And to see I took the kids trick-or-treating, last night. So we're walking up and down, and I'm just seeing them. And just those small joys that I get to see on the smiles on their faces and the moms. And one of them I said, when's the last time that you've been trick-or-treating? And she looked at me, she goes, I don't even know.
Wow.
And the Christmases, every year, for even Thanksgiving, I cooked 4 turkeys, 3 hams, all the dressings, and anybody that didn't have a family to go to, I made sure they ate. They'd come and, would come to the house. So it's like Christmas, the holidays are so important to me because there's so many people that have never had it. I know what it was like being out on the streets. not having nowhere to go for Christmas, not having nowhere to go for Thanksgiving, not having nobody to share it with.
Sure.
So it's like those things are like real important for me to be able to give them a home. It is not Cindy's program. It's Steps for Life, and it's their home, and they take pride in that.
Now, how do you support this very important project?
You know, that everybody asks me, Cindy, how do you manage to do this? And we get some grants. We have a lot of support from Redlands, the city. I have donors that have been helping.
Good.
We're always in need of donations and volunteers. Our budget is very small, but I've been, you know, my motto I always say this. You know what? No man can tear down what God has built.
Sure.
And I so believe that you know, it doesn't matter how bad it gets at times, something always will come through, like always. And you know, sometimes I get really worried, like, ooh, okay, how are we going to do this one? But once Redlands kind of started finding out about me, and it was really funny because when we were in a RCRC meeting, they were talking about, we can't house our homeless. She goes, oh, she has 5 homes. And everybody turned and looked at me, and I was like, oh my gosh. You know, and one of the police officers are there, and they asked me, well, where are your homes? And I told him, he goes, we don't know your homes. That's exactly how it's supposed to be.
Right.
You know, and I think that's one of the things.
You didn't have a bad reputation for crazy stuff happening.
Nope. You know, and most of the people, we offer such a good program for them and such a long length of stay that, you know, ones that have left and realize, ooh, I made a mistake, and how hard it can be to get back in, it's like, they don't leave. You know, they want to do something better. Not everybody does make it, you know.
Sure.
But I've had a really good success, especially with reuniting the children back with the moms.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That and dads. We have, I started doing the Men and Children's program because I believe that dads have a right to have their children.
Sure.
And I think there's a stigma that people think that they can't step up. And, you know, we had the first gentleman come in. He had 3 daughters, got his children back. The next guy got his, and then we have another gentleman who volunteered with me, Chris. We got his son back, and he's still with us today. And it's just to watch the dads step up and, you know, be able to be a productive member of society and giving back. And we volunteer in this city, like the Redlands Bike Classic. All 42 of my clients were there. We pulled 577 man-hours.
Wow.
In 2 days. You know, so we get our clients to give back, you know, to this community because I tell them, this is your community.
Now, are you a 501c3?
Yes, we are a nonprofit, so everything's done by donations and people helping.
Well, as we get ready to come up to our next break, I want to just throw it out there that if you're looking for a good cause to donate to, I'd sure like to recommend this. And I'm going to get some contact information and put it on our website as well as our Facebook page. And we'll be back in 2 and 2.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, K292 FQ Riverside, and K293 CF Moreno Valley.
The loss of a loved one is one of the most challenging experiences in a person's life. It's hard to know where to turn to make your loved one's final arrangements. Jesse Ruiz at Personal Funeral Planning in Ontario will treat you and your loved one with the respect you deserve. Jesse served in the Marine Corps in Desert Storm and understands what it takes to provide loyal, personalized, and empathetic service to those who need it most. The families of Michael Jackson, Brittany Murphy, Ed McMahon, and many others have trusted Jesse to provide them with the highest level of service and support. To work with Jesse, call 909-762-4027, 909-762-4027, or visit their website, www.4pfp.org. www.4pfp as in personalfuneralplanning.org. Jesse Ruiz and Personal Funeral Planning, veteran-owned and operated, helping you plan a personal, lasting tribute for your loved one. www.4pfp.org.
Hey guys, this is Andrew Caravella. Just wanted to let you know that KCAA has a new listener line for all of you that have a phone. Now you can listen to KCAA in the grocery store, in the doctor's office, or when you want to pretend you're on the phone with someone just so that creeper will leave you alone. Call 720-835-3099 today and listen to your favorite KCAA radio shows. That number again, 720-835-3099. KCAA Radio, the station that leaves no caller or listener behind.
If you're looking for a full or part-time sales position and you have radio, TV, or print media experience, KCAA has a great opportunity waiting for you that pays the highest commissions in the market. KCAA is the only station in the IE that broadcasts on 3 frequencies, so advertisers receive 3 ads for 1 low rate. This makes KCAA a must-buy for every local business. If you're interested in a sales position with us, email CEO@KCAAradio.com. It's time to shop in the cool, relaxed comfort of the Tri-City Shopping Center in Redlands, conveniently located on the I-10 freeway between the Alabama and Tennessee exits. Bring the kids too and watch them play in the only indoor fun center, High Five Indoor Playground, where parents are welcomed on the playground. Birthday celebrations are encouraged, so make plans for some great fun at the mall. More reasons why the Tri-City Center is called the Mall with a Heart.
Weaver Hughes Mortuary will be showing the movie Coco in honor and celebration of Dia de los Muertos, Friday, November 2nd, 4:30 p.m., 33629 Yucaipa Boulevard. Please bring a photo of those you will be honoring to add to our altar. Refreshments will be served. For more info, 909-790-3742, 909-790-3742 at the Weaver Hughes Mortuary in Yucaipa.
And welcome back. You are tuned to KCAA Radio, 1050 AM, 102.3 FM, 106.5 FM, or on the World Wide Web at KCAAradio.com. This is Viewpoint with Father John, and I am your host, Father John Reed. A couple of things. Just a reminder, on December 6th, I will be at Mountain View Mortuary and Cemetery in the beautiful city of San Bernardino. That sounds funny saying that from Redlands, doesn't it? But anyhow, at 6 p.m. we'll be doing a celebration of candlelight service. So come see me. I'd like to spend some time with you, get to know each other a little bit better. Also, a couple weeks before the program, if you take the photos of your loved ones in, they'll include it in the slideshow. It's okay to come and honor somebody that you miss, and we'll light candles for them. We'll pray together, and we'll have some time to help one another heal a little bit. Other than that, you know, we're talking over the break. Cynthia McWigan and I
did it.
That if you're looking for something to do for the holidays, and I'm really sincere about this, I hope you'll consider her program, particularly for Thanksgiving and Christmas. It's Steps for Life Community Services. You can Google it. It'll take you to their website. And if you can either donate money, food, what kind of things do you need?
Well, we're always looking for like hygienes, household products, clothing, food for the holidays, toys. I get every single person in my house a Christmas gift. I don't care if it's like a little thing of cologne. I just have always done that.
Sure.
I just believe everybody has to have a present of some kind, you know, whether we take the little Christmas balls and make something. So, you know, our office is right on Orange Street at 550 Orange Street. They can come there.
Good.
And we're always open to, we accept anything as far as our donations. I know we're going to be opening another house, so we'll be also looking for furniture.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, remember, Christmas is about giving, not receiving. And, you know, I have a friend that a couple years ago did something that just, I will admit, left me in tears. I thought it was so beautiful. For Christmas, he made these care packets for homeless people, took them out to Skid Row, and this was his gift to all the members of his family that he gave them their names. And he gave them the option, either you can go deliver it or I can deliver it for you. but my gift to you for Christmas is the gift of love that you get to pass on to others. And I had a friend that used to always say that love is the divine paradox. When you go out to get, you come back empty. When you go out to give, you come back overflowing. And that's what that gift did. And so with that in mind, if you're looking for an organization to give to during these holidays, I'd really like to put the suggestion into your mind about this particular program. Again, it's Steps for Life Community Services. They're really stepping up to the plate and doing some stuff that's needed to be done for a long time. Instead of waiting for someone else to show up, they're being the superhero that we've been waiting for.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit more about your program. Now, people come in, and do they go through some type of program, some type of structure?
Some come straight from the wash.
Okay.
We get people, families that have been displaced, moms that have been living in the park. So, I mean, I get them all ways. Just different people will call. I work with a lot of different organizations. You know, I know the outreach with Redlands Police. They brought me families like, hey, can you help? And we figured it out somehow to make room, switch people from one house just to be able to bring that family in. So, you know, they do a screening process for the most part. They'll call the office number. We'll do a screening. So we, you know, because we do work with mental health clients also, along with the homeless. And as long as they, you know, they can meet the criteria as far as if they're med compliant or they're not using, they cannot be using to enter our program.
Sure.
So we'll take them in. We bring them into a face-to-face, and then we start the process, get them what they need.
What about their medical needs? What happens with that?
It depends. So if, let's say, they're need more care than I can give them, then I will find them a better suited program. Okay. It will automatically get them on, you know, so they can get their health insurance.
Good.
So we work with a woman, get them their health insurance. That's one of the things that I'm real adamant about is doing their health checkups, you know, and taking care of that part. It's treating the whole person, not just let me treat one part of it. So we kind of try to meet all the needs because each client is individual.
Yes.
Each person is. So each person has a different need. And whether it's we collaborate to get them to an outpatient program because that's what that one needs, or this one needs to go to someplace else. Whatever the participant needs is what we try to collaborate to get them. We work with them with budgets so they can learn how to save. I have people that have never, ever saved a dime.
Sure.
So we try to teach them those things, just basic life skills to help them get up, make a bed, do a chore. They have to, you know, our program is an evidence-based run program, so everything is evidence-based. They have to show where they're going, when they're coming back, bring proof, where are they going out looking for work. I want to see it let me see, where are you going? Mm-hmm. You know, so it gives them the accountability because a lot of people have had no accountability.
There's structure.
I'm very structured there. And it helps them. And in actuality, they may come in not wanting it, like, oh my gosh, you have just way too many rules, you know. But then if let something happen in the house that kind of somebody else doesn't follow it, they're like, wait a minute, this isn't supposed to be happening this way, and that's good because it's each one teach one. So we kind of build the house like be your brother's keeper or be your sister's keeper. And I think that's what makes a lot of it work when they have their own accountability in the house, and it makes them feel like they're a part of the house.
And it probably gives them a sense of safety because, you know, growing up with my counseling background, one of the things that I see many children struggle with is when there's no boundaries, they have no sense of safety. Mm-hmm. And the two greatest gifts we give our children are roots and wings.
Yep.
And part of that is helping them know where the boundaries are. Because otherwise they go out there and they don't know any boundaries and they can't figure out why they can't keep a job and they can't figure out why people don't hang out with them too much. Mm-hmm. They're not bad. They just weren't given what they were needed to be able to function in a community.
That's right.
And we're having that problem in many places in our society right now. And I think what you're doing is important for that because what you're doing is giving them socialization, if I'm hearing you correctly.
Yeah. I think that's one of the biggest problems in so many different areas is a lot of the enabling of the person instead of teaching them consequences. And
yes.
Because if there's no consequences to nothing, then why do anything different? You're going to keep doing the same thing. And I totally agree with you on that. You have to, and even though they're adults, it's kind of like raising them all over again and instilling those things. And they know they have consequences, and they don't like to have their passes pulled, or they don't want to have the consequences. Well, then don't do it, and it's kind of like, okay, so here comes Miss Cindy, here we go. Okay, but yet, even though I'm an authority figure, it's like different roles I play with different people. I may be, It's like a mom, a grandmother to some, another, and I love, I don't think I ever want to step away from the part of being in my clients' lives.
Sure.
Just because I'm the director of this program, I don't ever want to be that one that just sits behind the desk and doesn't know what's going on with their program. I still am in my house meetings. I still am in my houses. And because this is my baby.
Sure.
So it's like I pride myself on being a part of every person's life to some degree of what's going on. And people come to the office all the time like, hey, can we just talk? Absolutely.
Sure, because when you stop loving things, they stop growing.
Mm-hmm.
And we've seen that with plants. I'm
Yep.
not trying to be, too basic here, but it's true.
Mm-hmm.
And the more that we do put love into it, the more it has the potential of growing. And it sounds like that's what you're doing here, is you are loving this thing as it grows, which requires more love as it grows.
Yeah, I do. Even when I talk, people will watch me, and when I talk about it, it's everything. It's my passion I love this program. I love what we do. I think we're doing an amazing job.
Mm-hmm.
I have amazing support. My volunteers, oh my gosh, I just love them. I have a wonderful board. And I'm so grateful for the smallest of things that this organization may get something. It can be a book,
Sure.
and I'm still just like, oh my gosh, I just so humble in so many ways that I've just watched this come from nothing, just one little bitty house, with 3 women, to being able to serve what we're serving now. And
22 clients. Wow.
yeah, that. And with those 3 clients, that the first person that gave us a chance was Susan Pasachek, and she was through Redlands Drug Court. And she just said, I'm going to take a chance. Let's see what you're doing here. And it just kept growing. And you're right about the plant. And it's really funny you say that, because I have to share this. I could never keep a plant growing. Ever. But my office plants, I have these plants in my office that are absolutely beautiful. And so every time I see them in the morning when I walk in, it kind of reminds me of my program that, oh my gosh, you know what? I love these plants. I'm loving on them. And that's what I'm doing. I'm loving on these people that are throwaways in a lot of ways. A lot of people don't want to be bothered with them. Oh, it's that
Right.
homeless person, or, oh, it's that addict, or it's that, we're not going to look. Let me turn the other way. And some of these people that I work with, I mean, they're in the union, they're in school, they've graduated, they've become therapists, they have good careers. You wouldn't know it if you would have seen them before.
Well, they're not bad people trying to get good. They're wounded people trying to find a healing. And I think we have to get back to that, because it's so much easier to judge people.
Absolutely.
And say they don't stand a chance. And of course, those of us who follow the carpenter, as I like to say, we're told not to do that. We're told to love them, to love the stranger, bring help to those who need it. I'm paraphrasing, of course. And to dare to get to know these people and to restore their humanity is the greatest gift we can offer to another human being. Because most people are doing the best they can with what they have. And nobody starts off even. We all start off where we start off. And so to get a restart, a reset, and a whole new environment. I've been told through the years that when it comes to alcoholics and drug addicts, whatever age they started using is mentally an age they stop growing until they get sober. And so you really are raising them in a new way. And it sounds like you're raising them with love and with stability, which gives them a chance to discover someone they never knew before, which is who they are, to find their true self.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. And I remember, I have one gentleman that really touches my heart. they brought to me, and he's an elder.
Mm-hmm.
He would have been one of the ones that you would see on the street that most people would be like, oh, let me go to the other side of the street. Let me, and I took a picture. The police had brought him to me. We got him his haircut, got him cleaned up. We did the before and after.
Sure.
And it was like, he was in the mirror. He goes, oh my gosh, do you think I could get a girlfriend now? And he's like almost 69 years old, and to see him smile,
Yes.
like he had not seen himself look that nice. And it was just like, oh my gosh, that was just,
It reminds me of a friend of mine.
gosh.
God rest his soul. He died a few years ago of cancer, and he had lived on the street for many, many years, and he found recovery. And one day he'd put himself through school like you did, and he was living somewhere, and somebody stole his clothes. And instead of being angry, he was giggling. He says, I've never owned anything that was worth stealing before. Do you realize how cool this is? I owned something that was worth stealing. And he was just so jazzed about that. It amazes me how we forget the little things that are so important. We talked a little bit earlier about some of the drug addiction. There's a song that's played at a lot of funerals that a lot of people don't know, that the song's written about a heroin overdose, and it's In the Arms of the Angels.
Yes.
And if you listen to the words, it talks about being in the motel room all by themselves and having the overdose.
Mm-hmm.
And people hear the love in that song, and so they play it at a lot of funerals, not realizing that's about a drug overdose. But that person was somebody's child.
Yes.
And that person might have been somebody's mother or father or brother or cousin.
Mm-hmm.
And they're the only one who didn't realize that they had been loved. And so for you to give them that great gift is just incredible. And as we come into our last couple of minutes here, I want to thank you for coming here. I really want to encourage our listeners to help support your program. I think it's a very important program. I hope you'll be back again in the future to talk about it. Let us know more about what you're doing. This portion of the show has been brought to you by Draper and Kramer Mortgage Corporation, the name you've trusted for over 100 years. If you're looking to refinance or purchase a home, contact my friend Ernie Gonzalez at 888-284-8332. Again, that's 888-284-8332, or online at mortgagesbyernie.com. Tell him that Father John sent you. Draper and Kramer Mortgage Corporation, NMLS 2551, is licensed by the Department of Business Oversight under the California Residential Mortgage Lending Act. Ernie Gonzalez, NMLS 1086147, an equal housing lender. And I thank you for allowing me to come into your home again this week to spend a little time with you, talk about some things that we think are kind of important. And if no one's told you this week that they love you, let me be the first. And again, Cynthia, thanks for coming on this evening.
Thank you so very much.
And I look forward to our listeners getting behind your program.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you inviting me.
We'll be back next week.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.